It's time for the Deadcast.
Hello one and all, it's SharnOfTheDEAD. It's that time again. It is the Deadcast, that podcast that's for the living and the dead. Of course, it's always about gaming, and I'm not alone. Once again, he's joining me. He's come back for a second time. It's Chris Sumner. So it's great to have him back here, and we're going to be talking about lots of things. But as you can judge from that picture, we're going to be talking a lot about Life is Strange. I like it. Chris, he's played the demo, and I'm going to try and convince him to buy the entire thing, but we're going to find out more about that in a sec. So anyway, Chris, just say hello. Let us know you're there and alive.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me
There
back.
we go.
And yes, thanks for everyone. Everyone was actually quite nice in the comments last week when I thought they were going to tear me apart. So thanks. You've got a nice audience.
My deadlings. I'm not going to call them deadlings. That's terrible. My subscribers.
My charming little corpses.
My charming corpses follow me around. No, they're a great bunch, and they're quite excited about a lot of stuff. And it's kind of nice to find other people that have the same interests. Like, I don't know if I was talking about Dynasty Warriors. I know I was talking about Hyrule Warriors, but a lot of people seem to like those type of games and that, which is kind of nice. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Life is Strange, Chris. You've played the demo. I've bought it and played through episode 1, and I really like it. I can't wait to watch well, I think it's in March. That's all I know. It's every 6 weeks there's going to be a new episode. And I really enjoyed playing it. I did a little review video about it with no spoilers. So if you want to check that out, you can have a quick look. But Chris, tell us what you thought, because I'm intrigued to see how you felt about it, because we haven't really spoke about it. And see what you think.
For anyone who doesn't know what the game is at all, it's kind of like the Telltale games. It's one story being split into episodes. And there's going to be... How many are there going to be? 5 or 6?
5 episodes.
And there's going to be one released every 6 weeks, which is quite ambitious. And setting and themes-wise, it seems to be kind of a sci-fi time travel story. Not on like something like Donnie Darko, but set in your kind of typical American university college setting. Now, like you said, you've played the full Chapter 1. You can give us the details. But I've only played the demo. And I advise everyone to just download the demo, because it was quite an interesting game. But yeah, I don't think I was as crazy for it as you were. I thought the time travel mechanics are a big part of this game. And in one little I saw, they seem to be thought. The mechanics seem to feel nice. Basically, just hold down the left trigger to rewind time, and you've got kind of like Mass Effect style dialogue choices. And if you pick the wrong option, you can just rewind time and maybe pick a different option. Maybe appeal to someone's personality more. You might get a choice wrong. They might ask you a question. If you pick the wrong answer, don't worry, you can rewind time and pick the right answer. So that seems like a good mechanic.
It's almost something It's almost something that we all wish we had. There's plenty of times I wish I could just take some of it back. And what I like about it, it's not only that if you're not happy about something you said, you could actually learn something about that character. I mean, there's a few times later on in the game where you discover something and you can actually rewind time, knowing that you discovered that thing, and it opens up new dialogue with that said character that will then branch off to another consequence.
Yeah, a good example.
And I think
a good example of that is one of your lecturers at university throws out a quote by John Lennon, and then if you rewind time after you've heard that, you can quote that back to him, and he'll be really surprised, and he'll think you're really insightful, and he'll say, "Good job, Max, you've done well." And that gets me to my other point. The mechanics are great, but the dialogue is so hipster. It should be Emma Stone in this role, because it reminds me so much of Easy A, which I think is American college piece of trash. Everyone seems to know this stuff. You're a character who's a photography student, and you start out with a lecture that's telling you about selfies, and that got me annoyed. Like, to get the game going, you have to take a selfie, and I refused that option. I refused that option until every other character in the game, the dialogue was exhausted, every character was just sat there in silence. Because your teacher will just talk and talk and talk until you hit X to take a selfie. But I refused to do so. So they were just sat there quiet, and then I thought, guess I'm going to have to play this game. Took a selfie. And also, you walk down the corridor, you see the jocks, you see the nerds, you see the cool kids, you see the, as the character actually says, skater boys, and she's listening to this track on her iPod that's like straight out of Juno or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, I decided to waste the time and walk down the corridor up and down again, and that track just repeats. Max has only got one track on her iPod, apparently. Cutesy hipster music. Also, whilst I was in the corridor, I discovered that Max is also the least popular girl in this school, because if you stand still in the path of oncoming people, the AI is not smart enough to walk around you. It'll just walk into you and hit you. And they've actually animated Max. Yeah. She does a little wince, like she's embarrassed by it, so that is quite nice. The visuals are very nice, I can't deny it that.
Oh, right.
But then again...
And they have put a lot of work into. I mean, for a small. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a small title. It's not a AAA. It's more or less. It is pretty much an indie game. I mean, it's kind of weird though, because like, is it? It's kind of not like how people would perceive an indie game. It's like how you perceive an indie film, like, you know, when you say like Juno and what have you. It kind of falls into that, and it's very. It doesn't. It's more like a text adventure, you know, like more an adventure game. It doesn't fall into like a gamey category, you know, where you're running around shooting people. It's very story based. I mean, I got really sucked in. I quite like Max as a character.
I like Max. You know, I think it was every other character that I seemed to dislike, and maybe they're designed that way.
But
they're designed that way, so you identify with Max because you hate everyone else, and everyone else kind of deserves to be hated. So maybe that's done on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, there are some nice people. I mean, Kate, I tried to stick up for Kate, because who's getting more or less bullied in class and that. And I thought it was just kind of nice, because she's like, oh, do you want to go and bitch about that?
I mean, like I say, I only played a small sample. The demo, if you're going to try it, is only very short.
Because I don't want to spoil anything for you in going. It's really hard, because there are some moments in the game you're like, oh crap, you know, it's the things you can discover, and which are going to obviously hopefully carry on the whole butterfly effect. And it's a big promise that a lot of developers have made before, saying, you know, this is going to change outcomes in every game, you know, in the future, and it's going to be quite spectacular. Again, it's remained to be seen, but there are some moments later on in the game that do set up for some interesting consequences if it's followed up correctly.
It's certainly an interesting premise as well, and I can't fault the visual style at all. It looks really nice. I don't think this is something they would put out on last generation. No. And it's very, very different to the style that Telltale have been putting out there. Telltale have always had a bit more of a cartoony, graphic style to their stuff, whereas this is closer to, you know, photorealism.
It's done in the Unreal Engine, for what I know, and what I like about it is that it's very detailed. When you're in Max's dorm, or when you go through the dorms later on, everybody's room is kind of like a reflection of their, you know, people. You only get to go in a couple, but Max, she's got all the pictures on the room. She has a guitar, you know, and you're able to go around her room and comment. You know, there's a cushion that she's had from when she was a kid. You got a picture of her mum and a dad with her, and things like that. And it's kind of nice, because it's like, you know, it reminded me when we was at uni, and like, yeah. Deborah's room was just a complete mess. Mine had the TV and the surround sound system and all that. That was all my thing. And, you know, everybody had the
special limited editions of Mass Effect all neatly lined up.
Exactly. So that did remind me of that.
I was surprised with really how Western it was as well, considering it's Square Enix that are putting this out. And all I really know them for are Final Fantasy, where everyone's an androgynous Japanese teenager with ridiculous hair. Well,
this is the thing. Yeah, I mean, Square Enix, haven't developed it. They're only they're only the publisher. It's by Dontnod Entertainment, and apparently they were looking for publishers for the game, and they had the major problem where every other publisher pretty much wanted Max to be a guy. and not a girl. And this was in one of their developer diaries.
Oh, did
and
they
I
want
thought
it to
that's really
be
strange,
a
like,
white man
they
with
didn't want
stubble and shaved head, possibly voiced by Nolan North?
Yeah.
No,
Or
maybe even
Troy Baker.
Mark Miller, who knows?
Yeah, literally. So, I mean, Square was more or less the only dev with the publisher.
Well, she was the
and
most
keep things as
intriguing
they are.
part of
They
it,
didn't
the
want to
main
change anything
character.
about it.
I wasn't annoyed by her at all. She came, from what little it was, she seemed a bit charming. Everyone else seemed annoying, but they may have been designed that way. Do you play something as an outsider? Because I seem to get the impression it was everyone else against her. And
yeah, in a way. I mean, she's kind of like people accuse her that she hasn't been around long and what have you. But she's, because you can, in certain comments you can do certain things to certain characters. And there's a moment where you can comfort a character or just completely blank them. There's little moments, not a big spoiler. There's a little goth girl and she's reading a book and she doesn't really want to speak, and Max makes a comment, I should really try and make more to do with her or whatever. And one of the jocks throws a football and it hits her in the back of the head, and she's like dropped a book and she's like all upset, and you can actually reverse time,
like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 1.
And then what the thing is, but they don't catch it. The ball just misses her, but hits the window and breaks the window. And then it says, "This action's going to have consequences." I was like, "Shit, whose window is that broke? Is this going to be? Should I just left it, or should I should have still helped her, or what?" So I think it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm excited because it's the first game I've really got into and played. I mean, I know I've been playing I've only just tried to get into some of the Telltale stuff recently.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it.
Those are my favourite moments of The
wrong.
Walking Dead and The Wolf Amongst Us, and more recently Game of Thrones. The moments where something came on screen and you realised your actions have consequences. So it's good to hear that's in there as well. It's certainly worth a try. But whilst I know at the point of recording this, Game of Thrones episode 2's come out in America, and it'll come out tomorrow in the European store. So I can't wait to play that.
But
but I think
on the Wednesday,
I don't know. This might be one that I'll wait for a sale, or I'll wait for it all to be on disc. Because you've done the opposite. I played the Telltale games on release day every time, and you're just playing Wolf Amongst Us now in one big go. So I think it's certainly worth a try for me to try them all in one big go. But this might win me round. I mean, it seemed to have a lot of love put into it. It's just, again, my fault with what was it called? The one where you're teenagers and you're all getting murdered. I talked about it last week. Until Dawn. My problem was mainly with the dialogue. But again, these two things seem like they fall in a certain genre of storytelling. Oh wow, that sounded douchey. A certain genre of movies, maybe. This is kind of the teen American high school story with a bit of sci-fi in there, and that was the horror story. So maybe you can forgive it for having some dialogue tropes.
Yeah, I think what where they're going to go with it, it could be quite interesting. Like I said, it's from playing the demo is a really small part of that game. I mean, it's not extremely long, but the things that happen after that demo, ends. Are interesting and fun, and there's some interesting mechanics that want you to try out, and also you learn a bit more about the characters, and you kind of like because some of the characters, it's very rarely I've played a game and I can remember the names of certain characters after playing it, like Kate, Chloe, Chloe's like your long lost best friend. Kate's the quiet one that gets pushed around. I can't remember the one that bullies you in class though. The short,
she was annoying
blonde gal. Who's like sad face.
Yeah, she actually said sad face, and they were talking about selfies.
Yeah, well, thing is, Chris, there's people out there that are like that. They do represent. It's probably not so much here in the UK, but I know in the US you do get these strange people that say things like that.
Well, it certainly seems ambitious. I mean, it hasn't quite won me over to the level it's won you over, but like I say, it's definitely worth downloading the demo. And
well, download the demo, check it out. But I mean, for £4, I mean, the season pass is £16. It's on.
Yeah, I mean, it
nearly
might even be
everything but the
worth
Wii
waiting
U.
as well, because last week I got the Game of Thrones season pass at 40% off, because PlayStation were having a sale, and then they also sent me a sale.
Every
They
2
also
weeks.
sent me
every
a
2
10%
weeks.
off voucher, which stacked on top of that. So it might be worth waiting. Telltale often does that. When they get to about episode 3 or 4, they'll give you episode 1 for free. So keep an eye on the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think it's just because it's something I was intrigued about, and I saw a few trailers, and I did want to just try it out and play it straight away rather than waiting. Mainly because there's a bit of a lapse at the moment. Until the order comes out, I really don't have much to play, other than the few games I'm still playing through at the moment. But I think, you got to be careful with this season, because they're doing a sale every 2 weeks at the moment, Sony are. Every 2 weeks there's a new sale. Every week there's a deal of the week. At the moment it's Infamous Second Son, which is ridiculous. It's like £16, which is a great price, really. For what it is, it's a pretty damn good game, and it's worth £16 without a doubt. So I definitely recommend that. But yeah, it's good. I think what I did, I only bought season 1. I'm going to wait until the season pass might get discounted, which I do think will happen before we even see season 2, just to try and boost up, the install base for that game. That's what I reckon, anyway. Well, yeah, that's like
it's something different. Yeah, when you consider you're looking forward to The Order, which is a big AAA game, and it looks like it's going to be very fancy based, very steampunky. It's nice to see something that's very different, trying to tell a very different story, and it has very different mechanics. Yeah, it seems the most interesting time travel game I've ever played. We keep talking about the high school elements, but the time travel mechanic seems really simple, but really effective.
Yeah, it's a clever. Yeah, just a clever way of using it. They're not trying to be too clever with it. They're not trying to make it too complicated. It's just literally implemented in such a way where it's easy to use. It's not, you're not going to forget it's there, and it's not a gimmick. It's going to actually come into play quite a lot throughout the game. So I'm quite impressed with it. And what I do like about Life is Strange is how it's not. In a way, how it's mature. It's a bit grown up. It's not like. How can I explain it?
It understands what it is.
As close, I think we're going to get. Yeah, it understands what it is. It's close as what we're going to get, like a crime drama type thing. Bit more mature thing, something that nearly anyone can sit down and play, or people that aren't interested in games.
It's a bit in line with
and play
LA Noire,
Life is
but
Strange.
a bit more accessible in terms of tone. But it's a lot easier to get your hands around and play.
Yeah. Yeah, because LA Noire, that was a cracking game, but it got slightly in a way, which was disappointing, because I enjoyed it. I liked what it did, and it tried to make a mature, interesting game, which was investigating crime scenes. It was very dialogue heavy, and I would like to see more of that in games, to the point where I like the whole adventures thing. I keep saying it, and I've just been started thinking of whether anyone listening to this watches Broadchurch.
Nope.
You don't even watch Broadchurch, but I would love a video game that is literally just about that. Something really gritty, really deep, where you can choose the character's choices, and in certain situations, things that are going to handle, child murder and things like that. So again, because the thing is, right now, games are pretty much not considered to be grown up.
They're entertainment rather
like
than
I'd love to
high
see a
art
game
at the moment.
Yeah, and I'd like to see, because there's no reason why games can't be like that. They can't be.
Well, that's the thing. I thought, going back to LA Noire,
yeah.
I think that was a really big turning point for Rockstar. That was their big grown-up moment. Because whenever you think about Grand Theft Auto, one of the things that comes to mind is violence, and one thing that's always thrown out there is the fact that there's prostitutes in there, and the way that they portray women. But the fact that in LA Noire, there were scenes where you were playing as a police officer, you found the bodies of women who had been mistreated. They were rendered fully nude, which was kind of a first for Rockstar. And rather than being tantalising and sexy, it was very distressing, and it was quite upsetting. I was quite shocked by it. I'd never seen anything in a game like it, and that was a bold move.
The Black.
It was based off the Black Dahlia movies. Their stories, rather.
And I thought that was brilliant. And there's not enough of that. There's not enough games like that. And I would like to see more of that. Things that handle subjects in a way. So, I mean, I'm not saying not all games need to be like this. I mean, there's still games that could be fun. But at the moment, there's just games that are just... I would like a game that has some strong context that can handle itself and not be silly to the point. Like Life is Strange. I don't see it silly. It's quite mature. It's quite interesting. I know outside I can go and probably play that and enjoy it. And I think, like I said, if Broadchurch was a game or a crime drama or something like that.
Well, something else that impressed me recently was Dragon Age, because BioWare, Dragon Age Inquisition specifically, BioWare have always had romance stories in their plots, and that's always been something nice. You bond with all your characters, you make friends with them, but you can always pick one to maybe go down a romance path with. And it's very nice, the writing's always very good, the voice acting's always very good, but you'd always get to this point where the models were just kind of stiffly rubbing together, wearing awkward kind of futuristic underwear if it was Mass Effect, or really weird Middle Ages underwear if it was Dragon Age 1 or 2. But when that happened in this one, I was quite surprised. The characters were just modelled nude. Completely nude. You didn't see anything below the waist, but if there was a woman in the scene, you'd see her bare breasts. Same with the man, but that's not quite as scandalous. But they didn't draw attention to it. It wasn't the focus of the scene. It was just something that was in the corner of the frame. Then when the character leaned forward, it was out of the frame, and you were just looking at her face. And considering all the
I don't get that with my romance.
And exactly, because it's not always appropriate for the context.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not about that,
there are characters out there who
which,
in fact, Dragon Age is the example. If you romance one character, that's just it. You get a very sweet moment, a kiss, and then a dance. In another one, there's this very emotional sex scene where it's a character who's always been tough. Cassandra, she kind of lets the armor drop, and you see this softer side to her. And then some that are more comedic. The character Sarah, you can only romance her if you're a woman. So that story. It's a lesbian love story, and that's just more fun. She's a character who likes to have pranks, and it's not a very serious love story. It's a very kind of charming, funny one. So yeah, games are getting a bit more interesting these days. They're getting a bit more mature. But then again, for every one of them. But
the way the media represent that. The way the media would represent that is just a fantasy rape simulator.
That's what they called Mass Effect. Rape your way through space, apparently, was the most scandalous headline they got from that.
Yeah. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. That's me. They just don't... Rather than try and understand what's happening, it just gets completely taken out of context. And that's what I mean. I think games need to be understood a bit better. Because, games in the... I mean, right now, games are bigger than... Video games bigger than the movie industry. It is, because in a movie, you can watch a film, but you can't be a part of a film. In a game, you can be a part of it. You can make decisions and change the outcome of a game. I think there's a very, people should look at game in a different way, and I think that it could be as interesting as film.
I think Grand Theft Auto was the biggest selling piece of media of all last year. Including all films and music, and that told quite a mature story. Obviously, Rockstar have grown up a bit. Still, there were stupid bits in there, but again, that was a game where it told a story, a very realistic story, than some of the earlier Grand Theft Autos. But you did get to affect the outcome, so I think we're getting there. But that's why the games have got a rating on the box.
I mean, personally,
if your kid wants to play Viva Pinata, great. There won't be anything horrible in that. There won't be any of the bodies from LA Noire just in your garden. And if you really want good family times, Nintendo are always very happy to accommodate that. But sometimes the games have got...
Exactly. I'm just saying, there's games for everyone. There's games for everyone. But I still think there's certain games that could be made that could appeal to an older audience, and not just because they're violent. But it's like The Imitation Game. Right, and let me just use this as an example. It's a 12A to go and see it. But a 12-year-old isn't going to enjoy the imitation game because it's quite a, the whole subject of that film. It's World War II. It's all about breaking the Enigma thing, but it is still a very interesting game. That's what I mean. They could still make a really interesting game that might not be. It doesn't have to be violent or anything like that. But that's the thing.
I think Life is Strange is something that shows we're getting there, though. It's a very specific genre.
Yeah, we're getting
set a
there,
very specific audience.
If I'm making sense, that's what I mean. Like, we need more games like that, like you say, which are retrospective of the imitation game, which are for adult games. Not necessarily just because most games, the reason they have an 18 certificate on them is because they're violent and that. But you won't find a 12 game that's going to tell a better story, more or less, than an 18 rated one, which is kind of weird because it seems like they can't seem to make a decent game unless you're shooting and blowing shit up. But at the moment, where you've got like Telltale and the guys Dontnod, if they keep Life is Strange, hopefully other developers might follow suit and make some interesting games that are more about story and choice throughout the game. That's what I want to see. That's what I'd love to play because I've been really enjoying those games, and it's the first time I've ever played anything like that.
I think you will enjoy finishing The Wolf Amongst Us. I made you finish the first chapter before we started recording this, because if you played the first episode, you know it ends in a cliffhanger.
Oh shit, yeah. There's some. I'll tell you what. I mean, we've got pretty deep, Chris. Let's just say we've got pretty deep. I want to line it up with. Oh my God, Wolf Among Us, the first episode of that. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I'm really sorry if no one's played it yet. Right, just I don't know. Skip ahead probably about 5 minutes because we're going to be talking about it. Right. Okay. Stop. Pause. You done? Okay. Right. Well, I'm on about Wolf Among Us. Holy shit! I can't believe Snow White got killed.
Well, again,
I was like, no way. I was like, shit. I thought it was like, there's a bit of romance there. That's going to be interesting. See what happens. And then next thing, all these cops there. I'm like, there's been another murder. What's happened here?
Well, anyone who's played further along, I want to remind you, Sean's only just finished episode 1. And there are some further fallouts from finding Snow White's head on the step, so no one ruin that in the comments for Sean. But yeah, it's quite a cliffhanger. If you like that, the cliffhanger at the end of Game of Thrones episode 1 is like that times 10. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing where I'm liking it, what I've played, but I'm thinking back to it. Should have done that? Should I made that decision? Because I apprehended the woodsman. But I think I should have gone after
like I did,
or whatever.
Because I'm a good detective.
Yeah, but and also the Grendel fighting him, and freaking ripping his arm off. It felt so good.
You might regret that though.
Dick, I'm gonna freaking I might regret it. But the thing is, I'm Big Bad Wolf. I can look after myself.
That was an interesting thing in these games where you get to make more choices. I always tend to be the Boy Scout. Commander Shepard was always very well behaved. He'd always do the good option. Same with Lee in The Walking Dead. But with Bigby, because they already gave you a bit of his backstory, I enjoyed kind of being the bad guy as him sometimes. But then I thought that game, the way it's the choice that gives you and the way it's structured, it does give you a lot of freedom, and you can kind of craft your own story arc, and it does give him a lot of room to grow. Either you can choose to redeem yourself and become a better guy, or you can just become a darker path and just prove that you are the big bad wolf, you're this thing, prove everything right about you that they've all been saying after all these years.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I mean, like I said, this is the first time I've kind of really jumped into Telltale. I'm not too fond of the Walking Dead stuff. I'm not really into the zombies and that. I know a bit about it.
I loved it. I think so far
Telltale's
best game is The Walking Dead Season 1. Season 2 wasn't as great, but yeah, I'd say that's better than The Wolf Amongst Us, certainly. And I really love The Wolf Amongst Us.
I mean, I might really. I might give it a go again, but it's just fed up with zombies. I mean, if it was set in something different, then fair enough. I might give it a go, but I'm
but
going back to at the moment.
Going back to what we were talking about before with kind of mature audiences, Wolf Amongst Us is a very interesting counterpoint to that, because in episode 2, following your introduction, because there's been many women in Fabletown killed, you'll go to a place called the Pudding and Pie, which is a strip club owned by Georgie Porgy. And like we were talking about with
Right.
Rockstar's game, you do see like topless dancers in some scenes. And again, that's not the focus of it. That's something in the background, something you can choose to ignore.
It's a strip
yeah,
club.
but that's very interesting.
Seeing a strip club. You can't go to a strip club and just see fully
It'll
clothed
be an
women.
interesting
That makes
experiment.
sense.
It might be worth a try. Yeah, that's not the focus of the scene. But also, it combines that very mature attitude of just having it there and not glorifying it there. And it's also in this kind of world of make-believe and children's stories. So it's a very interesting mix.
Yeah, let's move on to what else we've been playing anyway. So obviously we've been playing Plants vs Zombies. We've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, you've been playing a lot lately. You've been playing a lot more than me, so maybe you should start off.
Okay, well, the newest thing I've been playing is Battlefield Hardline Beta. It's pretty good. I played the original Battlefield, and it was, as in when the beta first came out at E3, and it was like, oh, you can go and play it on PS4, not on the Xbox though. I was like, oh, wicked, it's great. And it was just like a mod for Battlefield 4. It was shockingly bad. It literally, I was thinking, how can they make a game like this? This is ridiculous. It's literally just Battlefield 4 with new maps, and it's just you got the same loadouts, although you just pretended to be cops and robbers. It just didn't work. And then anyway, they've now delayed the game, and it's like, because it was meant to come out last year, and now they've got the new, they've kind of changed a lot of things. You don't carry RPGs anymore, which was one of the main problems the last time, because people just spammed them like crazy. So now there's no RPGs, there's no heavy machine guns. And most of the weapons can be found around on the map, a bit like Halo in a way. And what they've kind of done, they've added, put some interesting game modes in. There's 3 modes in the beta. You got Conquest, which is pretty much like domination on a massive map, up to 64 players as well. You've got what's it? Hotwired. I think it's called Hotwired, where you have to steal a certain car, which is like a moving objective basically, and you have to keep it at a certain speed. So it's literally you can be in hopefully they'll have a bus on a certain level, but you can get an oil tanker. And you got to keep it at a certain speed to capture that objective, and then you can have other players hanging out the doors.
It sounds like the complete polar opposite of what we've been playing with Life is Strange. That sounds like just visceral, bang, bang.
It is. There are so many
Gameplay.
explosions and explosions, shooting, and music. There's some licensed music. I'm in a car and you can hear, "Woo, woo, it's the sound of the police." Just driving along, blasting out everything I can see, and it's just silly fun. It is just silly fun, and they seem to have got it right. You got the bank heist missions where you have to break into a bank. You grab the package and you got to get to the object, back to the safe point where the helicopter comes, so you can get out of there. And then you got the cops and robbers fighting between each other, and it is literally, they've kind of got it right. It's still very Battlefield. Those that have played Battlefield know what I mean, but they've just tweaked it to the point where it doesn't feel like Battlefield 4, and it kind of feels like its own game. And I'll be interested to see what more they do with it. But I definitely like the Hotwired game mode and the heists, where you can go in and steal stuff, and then you have to fight your way out. I think it is quite fun. I mean, you do die really quickly. It's hyper realistic in the fact that a couple of shots and you're dead. Although sometimes you feel like you're shooting someone forever and they don't die. So it's kind of weird when you're playing it, but it is good fun. I think if they keep it up this way, I don't know what the campaign's going to be like. Because to be honest, not many people play Battlefield or buy Battlefield for the campaign. They buy it for the multiplayer. But it's changed my mind after playing the beta. I was literally not interested in this game at all. But I've had a lot of fun playing it. So yeah.
Still, doesn't sound like it's a Plants vs Zombies.
No, it's no Plants vs.
The greatest game of the next generation. Which, it sounds like they've added a lot more content to that recently, or at least it feels like it. We keep seeing new maps and new gameplay modes.
Yeah, keep finding new things and seeing new stuff. So it's kind of weird. It's quite.
We played
a big game. Oh.
We've been playing for about 2 months before we accidentally stumbled upon the main gameplay mode. We were just playing multiplayer.
Yeah, we didn't even play Garden Ops or whatever, where you got the bosses and stuff like that. We just completely skipped on that, which is a bit silly. But yeah, so that's Battlefield anyway. I've also been playing a few other games, Chris. I'm just going to reel them off quickly.
Such as?
Chess. I've been playing chess.
Chess.
Yeah, I'm not very good at it. I got really angry with it, in fact, because I couldn't figure out how to checkmate, and I need to practice that more. Geometry Wars 3, which is the one of the greatest twin stick shooters ever, and it's.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise it had made it to 3, but. That's good. The fact that it's had 2 sequels, it's made it to the next platform.
It's the best. It's the best version you can get of it because it literally has all the Geometry Wars things. It's got a full campaign mode. It's got the original Evolved mode. I think it's multiplayer in there as well. It's just got lots. It's a really refined package compared to the last ones, which was just about playing Evolved and getting a high score. This has a bit more to it now, so I quite like what they've done with that. I've also been playing Resident Evil Remaster, which we spoke a lot about last week, as Chris. I'm finding that a lot harder than Jill. It's not going too well. And Destiny as well. Just jumping on for a few strikes and what have you. And you still haven't bought it, have you, Chris?
Nope, and I don't plan on it.
No, I need another strike, buddy. It's not fair. It's not fair. Well, the thing is, I'm going to be even playing more games, and I still haven't played certain games. I still haven't played The City of Colours or Valiant Hearts. And tomorrow, we've got Apotheon. Oh, tomorrow, technically today, or Wednesday the 5th, whenever you listen to this podcast, they've got Apotheon, Transistor, and Rogue Legacy on PS Plus.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see Transistor. I think that looks lovely.
You was really excited about Transistor last year.
Yeah, it's got a really nice art style, and it seems like the combat will appeal to my very tactical nature, the XCOM in me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... it sounds interesting. It's got a great soundtrack, and I love the artwork myself. Apotheon looks really interesting. That's like a 2D... I'm not like saying 2D God of War, because it's set during ancient Greece. And
well, the whole thing looks like one big kind of painting, like the kind of thing you'd see on an ancient Greek plate or urn. It's got a very specific art style.
Exactly, I like the art style for that game. I think it could be a really good indie game. I don't think it's going to break any walls down, but I just generally think it'd be good fun to play. And I think I'm going to find myself enjoying that one. And then finally, Rogue Legacy, which I championed last year. I tell you what, if Shovel Knight didn't happen, then I think Rogue Legacy might be on the tips of many people's tongues. It's such a good game. I mean, it's like harks back to Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That game does, where you got the old
which I know is a favourite of yours.
Yeah, and one of the best games on the SNES that was. And it's just like you got your knight, Sir Galahad II, or whatever you start off with. And you got certain knights, and what happens when you die? That's it. And then you pick a new knight, so you have like a lineage of knights at the end of it. I'm on my 137th knight now, and you can build up a castle, which gives you new abilities, and or new special moves you can use. One you can get like dragon wings. Fly around. The one's like a shinobi. You can go invisible and stuff like that, and you can get build it up, increase your HP and your mana. And the idea is you just got to try and get through it and beat as many enemies and bosses as you can without dying. And once you die, that's it. You have to start again, and it's completely randomly generated as well. So every time you start the castle, it's going to be different, and it is incredibly hard but challenging. And honestly, for people that slag off 2D games, you got to play Rogue Legacy and give it a damn chance, because it's a lot of fun. And not only that, it's cross-buy, so you get it on the PS4 and the Vita. Technically for free on PS Plus. So as long as you've got PS Plus, you've got that game, and I highly recommend you download it. I won't pass it off.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Well, segue into what I've been playing. That doesn't sound too dissimilar from. I'm sure it has a very different look, but too dissimilar from Binding of Isaac, which I've been playing a bit recently.
Oh yeah,
I know the PS
hard.
Plus one that we got. It's a nice challenge. It's randomly generated. It's got a very kind of Newgroundsy, deviant arty, kind of creepy, cute art style. But I've only been touching that a little bit. The thing that I've enjoyed most this week of gaming is I finally started the Grand Zelda playthrough. I put Wind Waker into the Wii, and it's brilliant. I know a lot of hardcore Zelda fans didn't like some of the mechanics in it, but coming in as a first timer, I like it. I like the story. I like the characters. It seems very charming. I already like Zelda. I already want to save her. She's already gone missing. But everyone who seems to pop up in the world, I like all the shopkeepers. I like the character of Groose, who just seems like he's Gaston out of Beauty and the Beast, who I like anyway. So I'm really enjoying that. Really hoping to play a lot more of that soon. Although I can't play it anymore because it is eating batteries. Playing with the Wii Motion Plus control. I put in fresh batteries last night, and they're already dead.
I forgot. Yeah, batteries for those. How can you even play with those Motion Plus controllers? Can't you just pick up a whole controller?
No one,
you can get them
no one
cheap
warned
now.
me with that. No one warned me with that. No, I think this is one of the innovators for Wii Motion Plus. I think it's one of the ones where it was required. I might be talking rubbish. I don't know. I've only just got my Wii.
I mean, I've got Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. Barely played it, to be honest, but
that's one that
it's
I'm
pretty,
as well.
Very pretty. Like it looks like a painting almost. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, well, this isn't even HD. Like I say, it's still on the old Wii, but it's still the visuals are still breathtaking. They're still very nice.
Yeah. I'll have to play it more. Like I said, I think I jumped on my Wii U the other day. And I was like, should I play some Smash Bros? And I just went onto the Wii U store to see if there's something new. And there was like Metroid Trilogy for $8.99. And I've never played any Metroid games. Ever. I've never played any of them. And I just did. I looked at it, and it's like, it's had like 9.9s, 10 out of 10s, and stuff like that. And
it's very acclaimed. It's only something I've ever played on the DS.
It looked really slow though. I don't think it's something I could play. Because like literally, when you have to turn around, you have to aim to the left, and then you just kind of like slowly turn around to shoot whatever's behind you. And I think I prefer more twitchy
You say that, but what you've been playing recently is Resident Evil, the game where it's hardest to turn around slowly and shoot.
Well,
the game is designed to turn around slowly.
Not if you use the new controls, where you can just literally just turn around straight away.
Have you been using the new controls?
Yeah, I tried them out. It's kind of similar to the tank controls, because up is up, but depending whatever you're facing, it's kind of weird. Well, I wanted to try.
I hear it's a lot easier to dodge and a lot easier to run away now.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to dodge and run away. You just have to make sure you're holding the right button, because say if you're running forwards, the camera angle changes, you can keep running forwards if you hold forward, but as soon as you take off your finger, you then have to move it the other way, so you go, in that direction. It can get a bit confusing, and to be fair, the tank controls are probably the best way to play it. And I think actually Grim Fandango had just come out. You can get a trophy for that if you actually do use the tank controls, rather than using the new control scheme. And I think they should have done the same with Resident Evil. I think that should have been a requirement for one of the trophies, just to get people to play it like how it should be. I think, because for the trophy hunters and people, I think it's a good idea.
Of which I am not one. I've never cared about trophies ever.
Never cared about trophies or achievements. I love them. I love them.
I'm going to have to play around with the PlayStation settings. If there's a way to disable the pop-ups you've earned a trophy and disable it coming up in my news feed, I'll be happy. That's not why I play.
Yeah, I think there is a way to do that. I do. I think it's in your settings or what have you. But yeah, so it's back. We've been playing Zelda. I can't remember what it was about.
The only other thing I've been playing recently, and something I really enjoyed, was I went back to The Last of Us. Really enjoyed that. And I played the Left Behind DLC. Is that what it's called?
I've not played that actually. Talking of mature games, I'd say Last of Us does it brilliantly. Does it really well. That tells a quite good story. I enjoyed that. I'd say
Last of Us, Those Left Behind does it even better.
Yeah.
Because what it's sold as is a prequel story about Ellie and her friend Riley, and she's mentioned at the end of the game.
I guess it don't turn out well for Riley then.
Well, yeah, it's even mentioned at the end of the game, minor spoilery, spoiler. Ellie says her and Riley got bit at the same time, and that's how she discovered she was immune, but it didn't work out that well for Riley.
Oh.
But the structure of it is very interesting, because I thought it'd just be this prequel story, but it's actually structured like an episode of Lost, if you can remember watching Lost, anyone. It time hops. Half the game is set during the main game of Last of Us. It's Ellie and Joel.
Yeah.
It's just after Joel's been injured, and she has to care for him. She has to get him to safety, and she pulls him into this mall, and she's trying to desperately find him some medical supplies and keep him safe from these hunters who are trying to track him down. And then it keeps switching back to Ellie and her friend Riley, and it's very interesting. It's a different side of Ellie. You see her in a military camp where apparently she was training to be one of the soldiers that the generic soldiers in that world that you just knife, who are trained to hunt down the fireflies. You get to understand them a little bit more. There's a nice feature, I won't spoil it, but if you connect with your Facebook account to this DLC, there's a nice feature where you get to share something on Facebook about it. And going back to... I'm going to give a minor spoiler out. It doesn't give plots away, it just gives a minor character element away. There's a very nice moment that hints that Ellie's got slightly more than feelings of friendship towards Riley. Which is interesting. It kind of hints that she has romantic feelings for her. And this isn't Riley, the side character who's going to be killed off. No, this is Ellie, who is a huge part of the first game, and she might be the centre of a franchise if they branch it out, which is a very brave decision to kind of portray her maybe as not completely heterosexual, maybe bisexual, or maybe a lesbian, but also she's a kid, so she's just exploring options. It's done in a very subtle way. It's not like we were talking about in Dragon Age, a full-on lesbian sex scene. I may be saying a bit too much, but it's only something very subtle. It's something that happens in 2 seconds, but I think it's a grown-up choice, and it's nice to see it's there.
I can't believe I forgot about that. This game when we was talking about it earlier. Because I'd say The Last of Us nails it in that respect of telling a mature story. I mean, there's violence in there, but it does do some interesting things. And Left Behind, I have heard a lot about. I've not played it yet, which I want to, but I know it handles some interesting things. And that's the thing. I just want to see more games like that.
And it's very good if you've got the remastered edition like I have. It's on the disc there. So you may as well check out. And like you say, it's nice that it's trying. It's nice that it's trying these new themes, and it does it subtly. It does it really well. Because as much as I love Mass Effect, your shuttle pilot in Mass Effect 3, it comes across that he's gay as well, and that seems a bit shoehorned in. It seems just like a nod and a wink. BioWare saying, "Look, we recognise we have gay fans. Look, here's someone gay on the ship." And it seems a bit shoehorned in, whereas this seems natural. It kind of like a Russell T Davies script, something like Doctor Who. There always has to be some gay content in there just to show that we're not anti-gay. Whereas this seems like they made that choice because it was interesting to tell the story that way. Speaking of which,
I don't agree.
Again,
crammed in just to make a point.
Again, Dragon Age does that again in Inquisition with the character of Dorian. That's done very well. You keep hearing that he's got all this information with his father. They've had a big, huge feud, and he's left home. And then when you finally do have a sit down with Dorian and his father, it just comes out in a line of dialogue. You can say, "Why are you two so angry at each other?" And Dorian just says, "Look, it's well known that I prefer the company of men. Is that a problem?" And then you can choose, "Oh, I didn't know that." Or you can just say, "No, it's not a problem." And that was done in a very mature way as well.
Yeah.
So that's not at all what this Last of Us story is about. It's only a minor element. There's also points where you put on a werewolf mask, you fire super soakers at each other, you get to ride on a merry-go-round. There's a bit where there's a section where you can go into an arcade and play a beat 'em up. There's lots of really
I think
interesting
it's pretty
stuff
cool
in it.
because games are changing and they're getting better and better, and the way they're being made and designed. It's like, a few years ago we didn't have out like this. I mean, I think there's a turning point. And I think The Last of Us it's definitely one of the most important games. I mean, Naughty Dog are a shit top developer. There's no one out there that's going to equals them at the moment in terms of game development. With the new Uncharted already looks spectacular, and if they've got this depth of the story, because like Uncharted 3 was cool, it had some nice set pieces, and it was literally just a set piece. The story wasn't that great, but I think if they, the storytelling in Last of Us, if they get this with the new Uncharted, I think that could be just as good as well. Which Drake is like he's like an Indiana Jones of the PlayStation world, more or less, and I think they've got a lot to look forward to in that.
Yeah, it's
and
something
also,
that I hope they'll. I hope it's something
big one
they'll.
I think it's gonna be cool.
Release a HD edition of the Uncharted games.
Yeah, well, it's on that PlayStation. The PlayStation, subscribe. You can subscribe. I know it's not come to England yet, but play games by streaming them.
I'd prefer to be able to get a copy.
They're bringing them out to that.
Digital or
I'd
physical.
like a remaster.
I never had a PS3, and that's all they're available for. Because there's no backwards compatibility with the PS4, and last generation, I championed Xbox. I was very into my Xbox 360, still like it, but don't happen to like the Xbox One as much, so I've gone over to PlayStation, and I hope they bring it back out.
I hate myself for because I was saying championing Xbox. The amount of freaking exclusives. I'm lucky I didn't miss out on though. There's a lot of time where I spent my student loan buying a new PlayStation. I mean, after selling it again when I couldn't afford the freaking rent. But I remember playing Resistance 3, and that was amazing. I remember playing Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, and I was like, what the hell have I been missing out on? These were when I was in bargain bin. And I never got to play Heavy Rain. I never got to play Beyond Two Souls, despite people saying it's not very good or whatever. I still didn't get to find out for myself. Rain, just before, I never got to play that. Journey, never got to play it. Some of these big games that came out on PS3 and I completely missed out on. And during that time, what was I playing? Either Halo or Gears of War. And to be honest, I don't really like Halo that much. And Gears of War was just like, after... Well, the first one was alright, the third one was alright, I didn't like the second one, and Judgment was a pile of shit. So
that's good. I think it shows that you've grown a bit. And we can't expect video game developers to grow if we don't grow as an audience as well.
I mean, the only really good exclusive that came out for the 360 was probably Alan Wake.
Hey!
When you look
Viva
back,
Pinata.
That was probably... and
Viva Pinata Party Animals.
I think Alan Wake was a really good game, although it took forever to be released, which probably killed its hype somewhat. But I think in terms of the exclusives, it was always pretty weak on the 360. It was never as good as PlayStation's, and that was the reason why I jumped shit. I just thought, that's what I learned from. And I was like, if I get an Xbox, this again. I mean, there's been Sunset Overdrive is alright if you're one of those guys that like going into a baker's and going to cake is a lie as loud as you can. That's the type of humour for that game.
Ha ha.
Yeah, haha, yeah. Oh, you're doing a fetch quest. Oh, they're so boring and gay. But here we go, enjoy your fetch quest. And then they do that, rinse and repeat another 5 times. No thanks, not really into that. Rise would have been so cool if it was Spartans. And...
That's your only complaint.
Did you know on Rise, right? I mean, a lot of people moaned about the QuickTime events where you do an execution and you have to press A or B when the light up. You don't even have to press anything and you do the execution anyway.
Nice.
I actually, when I played it for the first time, I was like, look, I don't even have to push the buttons on the controller and it just does it. That's shitty and lazy. That's
pretty
Crytek
terrible.
all over, though.
But then again, no game is perfect. I wasn't allowed to continue Life is Strange without taking that selfie. I resisted it for as long as I could, but sometimes you got to do a QuickTime event. Sometimes you got to take a selfie. Yeah, but just think, Chris, that if Life is Strange was Rise, you wouldn't even have to press a button and it would take the selfie on its own. It'd just be a film. Imagine a game where you didn't have to press any buttons and the story would just tell itself.
I know, literally, Rise, what you do is just smash the buttons until you go to the executions. You can just sit and watch them.
It's just an animated movie. It's just a DreamWorks classic.
Like the next Metal Gear Solid, it's just Psycho Mantis just controlling everything.
Fun thing about that.
If you want to play the game, you just have to put the controller into the next port, and then you get to play the game.
For anyone who remembers the Psycho Mantis fight, I remember doing it on the GameCube remake, Twin Snakes. But being ahead of the times, I had the glorious Wavebird control. Remember the first true first-party wireless controller? It was fantastic. And when Psycho Mantis did that bit, he said, "Put your controller on the ground and look at my power." And the snake nods at you and says, "Do it." It didn't shake, because the Wavebird didn't have a vibration feature. So I was like, oh yeah, some Psycho Mantis you are.
I remember in the PS3, Metal Gear Solid 4, you've played that one, haven't you?
No, never had a PS3. Again, that's one that I hope they'll put out digitally.
Why have you not played Metal Gear Solid 4?
I played 1, 2 and 3, but if I haven't had a PS3, there was no other way to get it. Same with Uncharted, I didn't have a PS3.
Bring that to next... Oh, man, there's a moment, and I might as well just fucking tell you, because you're never going to get to play it.
Go ahead.
There's a moment where he meets Psycho Mantis, and he tries to read your memory card, and he can't, because it's like not the same. And then he tries to, I can't remember if the DualShock 3 had a rumble pack in it or not, but he tries to like move your controller, and it doesn't work for whatever reason.
That's got me intrigued, because I killed Psycho Mantis in number 1, right? I killed him.
Yeah.
What's he doing back?
Yeah. Well, he comes back as like... Because I think one of the enemies you're fighting for kind of resembles Mantis in some way. I can't remember, to be honest, so I'm just going off on the top of my head.
Does anyone ever die in that series? Liquid's always back. Revolver Ocelot's always back. Is Sniper Wolf back next?
Brother!
We liked her.
I'm back with this arm! Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but I just remember, I was like, oh, Psycho Mantis is back. And it's just like, he defeats himself, basically, so you don't even have to fight him.
Is it gone the way...
after a boss battle.
Is it gone the way Sherlock went, the BBC Sherlock, where just nobody dies? Every season, just someone comes back?
Yeah. Well, yeah, in a way, but the new Metal Gear is a prequel anyway, so... But then...
where they've brought back MacDonald Miller, who was dead.
Yeah, who was dead.
But it's okay, because it was a prequel, so it's okay for him to be alive.
Yeah, it's fine. That should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to see how that turns out, even though I still don't like the voice of Big Boss. I still think, even if it wasn't David Hayter, okay, fair enough, but I really think that Jack Bauer, or whatever his freaking name is... Kiefer Sutherland his delivery is so dry and so boring, and it sounds just like him. And
I just like the idea. I like the idea that they're trying to differentiate between Big Boss and Solid Snake. I like the fact that they're trying to change and make them a bit more different.
Yeah, but I just don't. I mean, I ain't got nothing against Kiefer Sutherland. You know, I'm not like a hater. I just don't like how he does his voice. Just think it could have been done by someone better.
Well, yeah, there are those rumours that Hader's voice is in there somewhere.
Yeah, Hater. Kept you waiting, her. Right at the end, you'll probably just hear him in like a radio transmission or something like that.
Hater's got a hate.
Gotta get out of here.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Oh my god. Oh, Metal Gear, awesome.
There we go. Thank you for your guest appearance, Solid Snake.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem.
I've got to go in my box now. Goodbye. Bye.
But yeah, so that's it. I mean, we've kind of covered quite a bit today. We've gone quite deep, I think, in this podcast, Chris. We was talking about boobs and representation in games and how games are tasteful and things like that, and how they should be more mature.
We've covered time travel, representation of gay people, strip clubs, boxes, Psycho Mantis. It's all there.
It's all there. Literally, this podcast is one hell of a mixed bag.
And it's got some shiny new artwork. Still here, it's got some shiny new artwork. And if you're still here listening, then well done, sir. Give yourself a pat on the back and leave a comment in that box. Or madam. Chris, you. Or neither. However you identify yourself.
If you could be a dog, a cat, or a rabbit. I don't know. If you enjoyed this,
because we've all got to be represented.
This is the end of the Deadcast. I'm SharnOfTheDEAD.
I'm Chris Sumner.
That's Chris. Yeah, he's Chris Sumner. And I hope you enjoyed this. And we've gone on and talked about all sorts of interesting things. And no doubt next week I'll be back. Whether it be with Chris or someone else, we'll find out and wait and see. But as always, thanks for listening. And we'll see you all soon in the next Deadcast.